I am currently running 6 faceless YouTube channels, which at its peak made me over $118,000 in just a single month. And in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm able to make all this money while only working just 2 hours per day. So if you're already having 1 or 2 YouTube channels and you're looking to scale them, by the end of this video, you should know exactly how to scale and manage your channels properly. So now let's just get into the video. Before moving forward, there's one thing that I need to address right away, and it's the fact that a lot of other gurus claim that you need to run 20, 30, you basically need to run a bunch of channels in order to make the most money from posting faceless YouTube videos. And let me be the first to tell you, you don't even need to run anything more than 10, 20, even like 30 fucking channels. I run only 6 and I'm still able to make a ton of money because I'm able to have quality types of channels. If you're trying to hit 50K, 100K a month, or even something where it's like 5 to 10K a month, you don't need to maximize and try and make as many channels as possible. You need actual quality channels. Quality over quantity in these channels is very key. You need to make sure that you're in a good niche and that your audience is a high RPM audience. That way you need less amount of views in order to make your 5 to 10K, even 20K plus per month revenue goal. And if you're going to listen to the other gurus tell you that you need 20 to 30 other channels, well, the entire reason we do this business model is you have location freedom, you have time freedom. And if you're running 20, 30, even more than that channels at a time, that's basically working a 9-to-5 job, except it's 24/7. You're going to be managing and having a whole bunch of headaches with just all the problems that come with running faceless YouTube channels. So again, you don't need 30 channels. You only need about 3 to 4 quality channels. And these 3 to 4 channels can, again, take you to 10K a month, 20K a month, 50K a month. Even like me, I have 6 channels right now making over $60,000 a month consistently. So you don't need a ton of channels in order to make money. Now, moving on from that, the number one question I get asked on my Instagram, YouTube comments every single time is, Chris, how do you operate these channels? How are you even able to run 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 channels at a time? How do you do that? Doesn't it take a lot of time? How do you manage it? Well, I'm going to go over that with you right now. So again, if you're taking notes, this is the perfect time to actually write stuff down. How do I operate and run multiple channels at once? Well, the realistic answer is I don't. I have systems in place and I have a workflow and SOPs and freelancers and teams doing the processes for me. Now, just because YouTube automation, it has automation in the business model name, doesn't mean that I just sit back, kick back, and I just reap the rewards and make all the money. Of course, there's still work that you have to do. It is a business model, and it does take me as the CEO and the owner to actually go through, manage people, make sure that they're doing the tasks on time, and also focus on my main goal, which on all the channels, it's ideation and seeing different niches and seeing if there's a gap that we can get into and get into a new niche on a new channel. So how do I operate? Again, I don't technically operate anything. My system does. I have workflows in place. I have everything managed. Think of a restaurant. You never see the owner. You never know who the CEO is. You just see the workers. You're familiar with them. You see the drive-through person. You see the person taking the orders at the front desk. That's all you see. You don't actually know who owns that certain location for the restaurant. So that's exactly how I'll operate on my channels. You don't know who it is unless I show you or leak my channels. You would never know that it's me behind it. So again, I don't manage my channels. I manage the system. I use Trello for workflow, and that's a board organizer. So every time I want to see what's going on with one channel, I just open the Trello board. I don't even have to individually type to my different freelancers. Obviously, we have different team group chats and I can ask them or have them manage and do certain things for me. But for the most part, if I wake up and I say, hey, let's see where this body cam channel's at, I'll open the Trello board and we can see exactly what processes, whether there's new footage inbound. Maybe the video's in editing. Maybe there's a video that just got approved and maybe we need revisions now. Time for me to go through and actually see what to fix or what's actually good with the video. So again, I don't technically operate anything. I only manage the system. And that should be your goal too with doing faceless YouTube automation, because again, we're doing this for the money, but the main point is we're not trying to gain another 9-to-5 job by running 20 or 30 channels. We want to have around 3 to 5 core quality channels in a good niche with a good high RPM audience. And we want to be able to manage the system, not run everything and operate the entire process. This next part, I'm going to be breaking down how the exact system works. That way you can copy this and apply this and hopefully end up scaling your own YouTube channel. So again, taking notes is very important in this entire video. So here is the exact system that I run. Every team member has a specific role, and every role plays a key important part in the actual video production and virality and overall just making money on the channel, right? In a perfect world, the better types of videos and the better your videos are, the more money that you're going to make, because people are going to watch longer. People are going to be returning viewers. They're going to come back, watch multiple videos of yours. And that's YouTube's entire goal, to keep viewers on the platform. So if you're able to help them achieve that goal, obviously YouTube is going to reward you via views, pushing your videos out, and that makes you money. So for every single channel that I have, we have a team mapped out and they already know what they're doing, because something I'll show you on Upwork as well, which is where I hire most of my freelancers and team from. Every team member has a specific role and they play a very key point, like I'm saying. And by the way, I already made a whole separate video on this, but my hiring process is very, very strict. I only work with people that have specific experience in what I'm looking for. So for example, if this is a body cam channel and I need a video editor, a script writer, and a thumbnail designer, I'm not just going to hire a generic video editor or a generic script writer or even a thumbnail designer that's done history content or IRL content. The types of positions and specific roles that I'm looking for in team members is going to be a video editor specifically that can show me proof and experience from body cam that he's done. Same thing with the scriptwriter, not just a generic one, a scriptwriter that has done and can show me proof of his past body cam scriptwriting work. So again, I make sure that every team member has a specific role and that they're able to follow the guidelines and the structure because they have proof of concept. They know what works. They understand the format. And I've said this again before, but every single niche, every type of channel has different requirements, and not all the formats are just flatline and the same on YouTube. Everything changes. Different types of channels, different types of niches, different types of target audiences like different things. So the same thing why if you're making a Roblox channel, you can't apply the same format to if you're targeting 70 and 80-year-old people, because they're just way different. Kids like TikTok, they like flashy things, colors, things popping up every 2 seconds. Older people can watch a video in black and white with maybe 5 images every 2 minutes and they'll be fine and they'll watch those videos. So know your audience, know your niche, and understand who is actually watching your videos. And I'm even going to take this a step further and actually pull up my own Upwork account. And you can see right here, if we're looking for a YouTube scriptwriter for police body cam, if I actually show you the listing, you're going to be able to see my actual process and what I put in the listing itself. You can see right off the bat, first line, experienced police body cam YouTube scriptwriter needed. Do not apply if you cannot show proven results writing scripts. So again, I make it very evident that every single person, every role, every position knows their job very well. I don't just hire a scriptwriter. I don't just hire very generic people, because again, anybody could do this. This is a skill that you can learn. Of course, a scriptwriter that's in the history niche could eventually learn how to do it in the body cam. The thing is, I don't have the time and I don't have the money, and they're not going to learn on my dollar. I'm not going to pay them and they go, oh, it's going to take a week for me to master it. No. I want to pay you and you already take off with the ball rolling. Maybe I have some requirements. Maybe I understand the format or the layout and can point you in the right direction. But I don't want them to basically take the time, take the money, and then have to eventually learn it and then me correct them along the way. It's too much of a headache. And before we continue on with the video, I want to show you one of my students named Pretty, who made almost $50,000 in a single month. And by now, with working with me for over a year and a half, has made over $500,000 just by copying these exact systems and formats that I'm showing you here. And there are dozens of other students right here that have had personalized one-on-one help from me that helped me scale their channels from literal scratch. None of these people here already had channels that were successful. So if you even have your own channel, we could potentially even scale you further. So if you want me to help you one-on-one directly, just like I did with Pretty and all these other students, to scale your own Faceless YouTube channel, then click the first link in the description. It's the link to apply to the one-on-one mentorship. Only apply if you're serious, and ideally if you already have a channel and are making some money. But for now, let's just get back to the video. So now you're probably asking yourself, how should you operate? Because I showed you exactly how I operate and how I hire and how I run my channels. But now you're thinking, well, that doesn't really help me, Chris, because how can I do it myself? Well, one, you can just pretty much copy me and just treat this in your own channel. Or if that still doesn't make sense for you, I'm going to break it down exactly how you should operate, and make sure, again, if you have a pen and paper, write this down, take notes on this, because this is super important for your channel. Step number one is you should treat it like a business, not a hobby. Again, just because the word automation is in the business model doesn't mean that you can just sit back, kick your feet up. I didn't get all these plaques with millions or hundreds of thousands of plaques just from sitting back and just letting the whole thing run for me. You have to understand why these things work. You have to understand the systems, why the hooks work, why the formats work, why these niches work. You have to understand everything, because if you're relying on a team or a freelancer or an agency to do everything for you, and you're just like, I don't know, I make 10 grand a month and I just hire them. Well, that's not a real business, because the second that team or that agency or those freelancers are quit and they're removed from your channel, then your entire business goes from 10K a month to $0 literally in the same day, all because you don't know what you're doing. So before thinking and opening a second channel, you need to document your first channel. This is very important, and this is the same thing that I do with my specific teams. I call them SOPs, and I have a workflow for it. You need to document everything, because whenever you go to hire somebody or you go to scale, your next hire is someone who can follow that document. So for example, for body cam, if I show them how to create the channel, the proper way to warm it up, how to do niche research, maybe even some ideation, how to just find different channels in the niche so they can do the channel warm up for me, I show them, I record a video, I do a step-by-step process, I document it as a script in different requirements, A to Z, 1 through 10 listings with bullet points on how to do it in the exact order that they need to follow. That way they can fully do it for me. I just pay them $50 a month and they're able to follow my exact process and just watch a video of me literally doing it and then them just copying it, doing it. That way I don't have to spend the time or really worry about like the anxiety of doing it myself. It's too much stress. Once you do that, now you're able to launch the channel with the same system, the same SOP, the same structure, and the same Trello board, just a different niche. Again, right now, if I wanted to launch 5 different body cam channels, I would just hire a VA, which is a virtual assistant, to help me with the channel warm-ups, creating the channel, coming up with the names, doing all the boring grunt work that technically doesn't even matter. And I would actually focus on ideation, getting the footage, hiring the actual team to actually push the needle forward and actually scale these to, one, getting monetized, and then worrying about the first 5K a month, 10K a month, then 20K, then 50K a month, and overall just making hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that is my actual bread and butter. That is my main goal for these channels. I don't want to be involved in the channel warm up, be subscribing to channels, watching videos. Obviously, you watching this when you at scale, because you're your one-man team, probably don't have a freelancers or agencies, you might have to start with that at first. And I obviously have done that in the past, but once you're making money, you have consistent income coming in and revenue from your channels, that's when you're able to outsource and alleviate some of the pain and the stress of doing the boring work that doesn't technically even matter. So now by the time you're at channel 3 or 4, you're not doing any of the production work yourself. Again, you just have a Trello board, you have workflows and everything in place. That way you have either a group chat or a Trello board or something where you can just go in and check to see the processes and the exact documentation of each video and the process of your channel. And it's very, very simple, very, very stressless, and you're able to make a bunch of money on top of that, which is obviously the best part. And again, just going back on this, you want to document everything, how you found the niche, how you do everything. If you have a specific way that you do channel warm-ups, which I know I do, and all of my students do, which is why they're able to get impressions right off the bat within the first 1 to 3 videos, and we're able to scale and monetize them so fast because we have the exact systems and workflow. And that's every single thing that I do. Same thing where if you work with me one-on-one, I have different modules showing you step-by-step what to do. Whether you have a ton of experience or whether you're brand new to YouTube, you're able to literally just copy it, understand. I break everything down even way more in detail than I do in these YouTube videos. And that's why my students are successful, because they're able to just pretty much copy paste what works with me. They're able to just copy paste what I do with my own channels in their own form and in their own niche. And they're able to also understand, because again, copying and pasting doesn't work if you don't understand anything. And another thing that I don't see anybody else in the YouTube automation space talking about is how much you should pay your team. Now, I'm going to talk about freelancers and the different positions. So if we're taking a look at my Upwork here, you can see that I have a virtual assistant, scriptwriter, thumbnail designer, and a strategist for these job postings. If I was to hire a VA, which is a virtual assistant, you can pay them anywhere from $50 to $150 a month, and they will do a bunch of the boring tasks for you. So channel warm up, creating the channels, finding potential niches, just all the stuff that takes time, but that doesn't actually push the channel forward. That's what the VA would be in charge for. And that's exactly what I have a VA for myself. Next, for scriptwriter, a scriptwriter typically costs anywhere from $5 to $15. It depends on the niche. It depends on how many words that they're actually doing. If you have a sleep channel and they're doing 2-hour type of scripts, well, then obviously you're probably going to pay way more. But if you're in a body cam, there's typically just an intro, a middle part, and an outro. Scriptwriter is usually $5 to $15. Same thing with thumbnail designer. Depends on the quality, depends on exactly what you're looking for. But for most channels, it's anywhere from $10 to $20 per thumbnail. Your goal when outsourcing the work is, one, to alleviate the time. That way you don't have to be doing everything yourself. But it's also important to actually note how much you're profiting and how much you're paying these people. For example, if you're making $10,000 a month, just for simplicity reasons, you should be profiting at least 85 to 90% of your total earnings. Again, none of these channels and none of these videos work without you. Yes, we have the freelancers. Yes, we have the people that we're paying to actually do their video production. But at the end of the day, you were the ones that found them. You were the one that found the channel and did the research. You're the ones that's probably doing the ideation just like I do for my channels. So every single part of the way is important, but it's important to not overpay them, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for money. This is a real business, and you don't want to have 50% profit. You don't want to have 60% profit margins. You don't even want to have 70% profit margin. You want to have minimum 85, even like 80% would be good. If you're making 10K a month and it costs you $2,000 to make 10,000, that's $8,000 profit. That's still very, very good. But anything really below 80% is where it gets very, very tricky. And obviously when your channel is just brand new and you're starting it out and you're not monetized, you're technically at a loss. But I don't like to look at it that way. It's an investment. And the good news is, if I'm not a tax expert or anything, but if you have a business, you're able to use all expenses as a write-off. So technically you have to spend the money anyways to make the money, which is how that whole thing works. Again, I'm not an expert, but this is just some tips and advice. Moving on to the biggest mistakes that even myself, when I was starting a few years back, I was making these same things. And this is honestly the biggest thing that was keeping me from scaling my channels. And the biggest thing is launching channel 2 before number 1 is systemized. Again, you want to have every single thing documented. You want to have the workflow, the SOPs. You want to have everything fully automated for you on channel 1, and you want to get it to making 5K, maybe even 10K a month before you start channel 2. A lot of people scale too fast. They see a little bit of momentum. They'll see a video that goes from 10K to 50K overnight views, and they'll start to, oh, I need to make channel number 2. Oh, I'm going to miss out on so much money. But now they're doing double the work and they're not leveraging their actual money printing machine, which is channel 1. So they end up doing double the work, double the effort, but they're not getting double the return or even more. They're actually putting their energy and diversing it into different channels, and that's not good. And even channel 1 is going to suffer because you're going to make way less money, because now your focus is from channel 1 and channel 2, and now you're having to hire and do everything like that, and it's a whole headache. So make sure you're focusing on your first initial channel, scaling that to 5 to 10K a month. Then when you have everything systemized, you have videos, you have a structure, you have requirements, every single thing is filled out with the positions, then you're able to scale to channel number 2. So again, you want to get channel 1 working first, then duplicate the system. Again, duplicating what works, taking proof of concept and taking it to the same niche or something a little bit adjacent is the key with this. We want to duplicate the system, not the effort. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So now you guys have my entire system and workflow that I use to scale my own 6 channels and even make more in the future to make over $60,000 a month. And now you guys can copy it too and use it on your own channels and potentially scale them as well. And just trust me, you will see results. The problem is the execution. You might not be able to execute it alone, and you still might even have a few more questions, mainly because this is going to be your first time, or you're new, or you're going to be trying to perfect it. And that's the exact reason why I help and teach people just like you in your exact position one-on-one, so you can work directly with me. We can hop on live calls and I'm able to point you in the right direction and set up a systemized structure just like I went over in this video for my own channels, but instead do it for you and your channels as well. And this is only for people that don't want to waste months. They don't want to waste all the downtime. They want to fast track their success with YouTube automation and hopefully make 5 to 10K a month within the first 3 months of joining. So if you want to eliminate all the guesswork and you want to actually scale as fast as possible and you want to join the one-on-one program, then click the first link below, apply for the one-on-one mentorship. Only apply if you're serious. And again, if you have a channel and you're already making money, I'll be able to fast track it even faster. So yeah, that's it for this video. Peace out. See you guys in the next one.